Peekaboo. Hey kids, welcome back to Guitar Quackery, where quackery is king. Today we're going to do a review of a guitar and a mini review of something that's inside this box. Can you guess what it is? Oh, sorry. Guitar Quackery? Oh, no, not now. You can call me later. Yeah, bye. Kids. So, a review of an Ibanez, hold on, what's it called again? RGA42FM. Okay, how they come up with these names. So, let's just go to the Quackery workshop and look at this guitar. This is a moderately priced guitar, so we expect to see some differences between guitars in this price range compared to guitars in a much higher price range. So there's nothing wrong with this guitar, but obviously we have some things that could be perfected if we want to. So let's have a look at the nut. I was surprised to see that this nut has actually been hand filed at the factory. This is not usually the case with guitars in this price range because it's a very time-consuming job that takes skilled workers to do properly. But here we see that these string slots have been filed with a tapered file, so they are a little bit, we see tool marks from the file. Yeah, and that's the case with all three treble strings. Now, this string is a little rusty. I don't know if they just included a rusty string or if it built up some rust in storage somewhere. The G string is very wide at the top here. We can really see how it's opened up at the top. And for the other strings, they used a different file. So here we see that. Yeah. So we want to check how much motion there is in the nut. It's pretty good. Yeah. One thing though is that they did not really perfect the nut. So my guess is that the string slots were quite high and they decided to file them a little bit so that it is easier to play. So we can use this dial indicator to measure how much the string travels before it hits the fret. This probe here sits on the string, and when the string moves, the dial moves. So let's put it over the D string, for example. And now let's fret it here so that it touches the second fret. So here we still have some space between the string and the first fret. And I usually like to get it at 0.02 millimeters, which is 2 of these lines. But as you can see, this is significantly higher than that, right? The G string, same thing. The A string, once again, I fret it on the second fret and then I measure how much space there is between the string and the first fret, right? So this could be improved by filing the string slots. When the string slots are too high, it is not as comfortable to play. Definitely not the first fret. The first 2, maybe 3 frets are a little hard to play. And it also adds tension to the fretted strings, which means we are playing sharp notes. Okay, so the intonation goes off. So now let's have a look at the neck. So Every good neck needs to have relief. That means that it needs to be a little bit like bow and arrow, but not too much, right? This neck initially had a back bow, and I had to use the truss rod wrench. I had to crank the truss rod counterclockwise because it's a dual action truss rod, so it can be used for that purpose. Now, here are some feeler gauges. These can be used to measure gaps. In order to measure the relief of the neck, we need to place this block here so that we don't add any up bow to the neck. So let's use the straight edge over the fretboard to measure the relief. Now I already know that my relief on the base side is 0.1 millimeters. So if I place a straight edge here, 0.1 goes through easily on the 8th fret. But the next one, 0.15, gets stuck. If we move this over to the base side, we can see, let me see if I can do it from this side, that 0.15 goes easily through. And the next one, 0.2, also goes through. The next one, 0.25, gets stuck. So the relief on the base side is 0.1 millimeters, and on the treble side is 0.2 millimeters, twice as much. Now this could be due to the fact that there are some uneven frets on this fretboard, which I'm going to show you now. Or it could be that the neck is slightly asymmetrical. This is a fret rocker. So when you place this over 3 frets and you hear this rocking, it means the middle fret is higher than the other 2. So this fret, let's remember that this second fret is higher. 3rd fret is not higher here, but it is higher than these 2 spots here. Whenever we hear rocking, we found a high spot. It's not too bad, nothing crazy, nothing that we don't see frequently on guitars of this price range, because in this price range they don't do a lot of finishing work that they hopefully would do on a higher price range guitar. Okay, I don't think I need to go over the entire fretboard. We get the idea. So, one thing I want to show is how this guitar was made. Here, we see what is called a scarf joint. So this is one piece of wood here. It ends here, and then this is another piece of wood. So there is nothing wrong with scarf joints, but I am never crazy about seeing a scarf joint in this part of the neck. It is better structurally to have a scarf joint here going the other direction. And the reason is because a scarf joint can affect the integrity of the neck. So when you have a scarf joint here, it can cause a little hump on the fretboard because of the way the wood moves and settles over time. And that might be the reason why we are seeing this high fret. So, this is not a bad guitar. It is just what it is for a guitar in this price range. The scarf joint is clearly a way for a factory to save money because they can glue two pieces of wood together. This is how it is. The guitar can be worked on and perfected. There are, in fact, quite a few options. Option 1, return the guitar and exchange it for the same make and model, but this time make sure there is no hump on the fretboard in first position. Option 2, try to do a setup as best as you can. We already know there's some imperfections on the guitar, so the setup is not going to be that great. Option 3, upgrade the guitar. In other words, do some finishing work on the guitar to iron out all of the rough spots, and then do a setup. So, sorry. Guitar quackery? Kids, I told you, you can call me later. No, later, all right? Just keep watching. It's good that you're watching this. Okay, thank you, bye. Oh, and subscribe. Okay, and your mommy and daddy too. Yeah, right, bye. Let's go back. This customer wants to do an upgrade, so we're going to do two things. First, a level crown and polish to fix the frets. The level crown and polish will be done here. I will use the neck jig to do a level crown and polish. After the level crown and polish, I will fix the nut. So I will file the nut slots as low as I can, but without the strings buzzing. So all that is going to take maybe 3 hours, and then the guitar will be upgraded. This is a guitar review video, not a level crown and polish tutorial. So I'm not going to show you a full level crown and polish. I'm only going to show you, a guitar quackery. Kids, not yet. I'm not going to show you yet. I'm going to show you later, okay? Just be patient. Thank you, bye. Yeah, I'm going to show you part of the level crown and polish. So let's go back to the quackery workshop and see part of the level crown and polish. Level crown and polish in progress. So this fretboard has a 400 millimeter radius, which is almost 16 inch. So normally I would take a 16 inch radius block to level the frets. This time I just used a straight one because it's 400 millimeters, it's not 16 inch. Let's look at the fretboard. As you recall, if you paid any attention to the previous part of the video, there were some high spots, especially this fret. So I first took the fret kisser and hit all the high spots first, then did a complete leveling. I haven't crowned these frets yet. So let's go over the frets. So no rocking. It's all smooth. Yeah, so the entire fretboard is good. There's no rocking anywhere. Next step is recrowning and then polishing. Now, this time I'm going to be using a new piece of equipment that I've just acquired. It's hanging right here. It is the Music Nomad fret shield. This is used to instead of taping off the fretboard. So we'll see how this works out. I'll let you know. Guitar quackery? That's right, kids. You guessed it. It's the fret shield. All right, good job. Let's go back to the workshop. I did say that I would use the fret shield to polish these frets. And as you can see, I am trying to use it. Did you catch that? Trying to use it. Well, that's because I am already having some issues with this. Did you catch that? Issues with an S, plural. That means more than one. So let's look at one of these issues. I am unable to access the fret ends all the way around to polish them. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, that's an issue. Fortunately, I already came up with a solution. And I'll give you a hint. There's an old Chinese proverb that says, if you want to do the job right, there are no shortcuts. I'm actually going to do a separate video of the fret shield. This is just a sneak preview. I actually bought two of them. This one is the Gibson scale length. I also bought a Fender scale length, which is the one I used on the Ibanez. So yeah, I was having some issues, but I did find a workaround, which you will see in the rest of the video. So let's focus on the work that I'm doing on the guitar, and let's get this business of the fret shield out of the way with a little workaround. The solution is in fact surprisingly simple. The old Chinese philosophers used to call these kind of solutions reinventing the wheel. There you see it. I taped off the fretboard. So this is how I've been doing it, and it worked for me for years. Now I am all for progress. Now the question is, do you want to do the job better, or do you just want to do the job quicker? What do you think your customers want? So this is a pretty quick removal. And this goes off here, comes off. Well, taping off the fretboard takes about 7 minutes, that's what they say. Who is they? Well, that's what they said in the commercial for the, fret shield. Although I don't really know how long it takes, because I personally never timed myself doing it. And time is money, which is why we shouldn't talk about this anymore in this video. So let's focus on the guitar and see how it worked out. This is the fretboard of this guitar. Now we need to put the strings on, reinstall the nut, the tuning machines, do some filing on the nut, and then do a setup, and we're done. There must be already a million videos on YouTube on how to file the nut and do all that detailed work on guitars, and I'm gonna make some more, but not in this episode. Now we just want to see the finished product. I filed down the string slots on the nut, so now the action on the nut is really nice and low. Yeah, perform the full setup and plays nice. Yeah, not a bad guitar. I do a lot of these upgrades. If a guitar is solid, if there's a good foundation for an upgrade, it might be worth doing. The only thing I was really worried about really worried a little bit is the scarf joint, which is really not in the best place. But I don't think that this will develop another hump on the second thread. Before I forget, if you enjoyed this kind of content and you want YouTube to know that, then you should consider subscribing to this channel, because the YouTube algorithm will know what to suggest to you in the future. You should always give it a thumbs up if you like it, and share this video. If you like to support this work financially, if you think I earned a coffee, buy me a coffee. You can click on the link below. You can join me on Patreon, and you can also buy some Guitar Quackery merch. See you next time. Thank you very much.